Hello and welcome to the Buena Vista Project, a podcast about Mexican-American history, politics, cultura y más, coming to you from the San Antonio, the Mexican-American capital of the United States. I'm your co-host, Michael Quintanilla.
And I'm your co-host, Elaine, Ayala. Thanks for joining us. On this episode, we're thrilled to welcome our friend and the former First Lady of San Antonio, Erika Prosper Nuremberg.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Erika. Now, Erika is a force. She is a cultural icon. She is also a community disruptor, y'all. She is a champion of women's empowerment, education, and underserved communities. This is how I see you, Erika.
I was going to say, it's a lot of magic.
She grew up as a migrant farm worker in the Rio Grande Valley, and she earned a master's degree from the University of Pennsylvania, my alma mater too, from the Annenberg School of Communication. And it was there that she met her husband, Ron Nuremberg, our former mayor, now teaching at Trinity University. Together, they've raised their son, Jonah, with love, purpose, and pride in their city. Again,
Erika is a voice of belonging. She's a voice of power. And she's also a hell of a lot of fun. This is like 4 days in a row we've been together.
I know. It's the longest tour we've ever done.
Today, she joins us to reflect on her journey, her vision for San Antonio, and the beauty of showing up as your authentic self. Plus, we're happy to announce that Erika will be an occasional guest on the Buena Vista Project podcast, bringing her unique perspective on all things cultural and pop culture.
I'm very lucky. Thank you guys for letting me hang out with you.
Oh, we're the lucky ones. So welcome, Erika. Now, Erika, at a luncheon this past summer, the Hats Off luncheon, Elaine and I,
we're in the audience.
We were in the audience where you spoke, and well, your words, they've stayed with me ever since. You urged everyone there to show up authentically, to dress, speak, and lead from our truest selves. You said, no hiding, no hiding. And that message, to me, it was in the summertime. It was like Pride Month, June, July. It was about pride, about belonging. And it resonated with me so deeply as someone who has always tried to fit in, but not assimilate, right?
Yeah.
Not abandoning who I am. And your words felt like a lifeline. So can you share more about what inspired that philosophy in you and how it has shaped your leadership?
How did you get to it? Because it doesn't always, you got to be purposeful.
That's right.
I think it's a combination of purposefulness and mistakes, right? And I think part of the benefit of growing up in the Rio Grande and being a farm worker is that you see a life full of people that have regrets, but are still getting up every morning, 3 a.m., out in the fields, and still providing for their families. And I think that kind of allowed me over my lifetime to understand that your purpose, it doesn't have to be grand. It can be as simple as just needing to make sure you feed your family. And that is enough for you to be proud of it and not hide that you're providing for a family, even if it's as a farm worker or a domestic, worker or a pilot, all the way to someone who cleans, toilets for somebody. I think for me, it's been a journey of trying to figure out all kinds of things about who I wanted to show to the world until I realized one day it didn't matter what I showed to the world. The world already had a lot of mindsets about who they wanted to see. So why would I start to live into that same assumption that they're putting on me? I'm just going to go ahead and be who I am. But it's come over time. And I'm really, really proud of the fact that for me, my grandmother was probably the one that inspired a lot of this. Because no matter where she was, no matter who she was, she never hid the fact that she was from Michoacan. She never hid the fact that, she had a family to provide for. And I think having that presence in my life just empowered it. And I try to find friends that are like that too. I think you all know one of my besties is Dr. Pulido, and she does not hide who she is. She is always upfront and authentic about what she believes and who she believes in. And so I think the more that I expose myself to people that are like that, the more I came to terms with the fact that it's important for us to be that. Also, guys, we're not here on earth that long.
No.
I mean, it's just a lot happier to just have people accept you.
And less baggage to carry around. Like for me, one of the times where I thought, not only were you being your authentic self, but showing us and teaching us at the same time. And it was when you were at the White House with Ron. And there's a beautiful picture. I think it was in the East Wing that is now
Gone. That's historic now,
yeah,
right? The
yeah.
picture.
And
It
so
is.
the picture of you, he's in black
Yes.
tie, you're in a beautiful dress, but you put your hair in a trenza, which is Spanish for braid. And among Mexican girls, that trenza means so much. And it meant so much to me to see you in that way.
Well, and I had a rebozo that was hand done from Oaxaca in a textileria, not a fancy one, but a cotton one. And I had a monarca clutch to symbolize my grandmother and the
Yes.
butterflies from Michoacan. And I had that dress made by an immigrant from Turkey that started a small business and is a successful clothing company now. And I did all that purposefully, to your point, because I wanted to walk in there and I wanted young Latinas to see themselves through the halls. And I
you
wanted
were-
people to see young Latinas.
Absolutely. The other people at the White House.
Yes.
That was powerful to
It
me.
was.
Okay, so here on the Buena Vista Project podcast, we tell our viewers all the time that San Antonio is the Mexican American capital of the United States. We say it boldly, we say it beautifully, purposely as a declaration of what we think of our cities, past and present and future. What makes you believe that? What do you see in our city that others might overlook?
Well, one of the things that I think is really important for people to understand is that the history of San Antonio was the capital of Mexican American culture before it was even American, right? So it was established as the most northern capital of Mexico. And therefore, it has roots in that culture, regardless of who would come later.
It's geography.
Right? It is. And so then you overlay the American part of it, right? After the war, the Mexican-American War. And Mexican-American culture really did thrive here. You have Tex-Mex food suddenly becoming something when the Chili Queens kind of created it, right? You have the amalgamation of so many cultures coming together because of the river. But my favorite thing is that I think what most people don't understand is that so many groups that go on to shape Mexican-American experiences in the United States started in San Antonio. You
Absolutely.
have MALDE, you have the Southwest Voter Registration, you have COPS that eventually morphed into other cities. You have the first real legitimate Raza Party candidate with Rosie Castro coming into power, right? And so what we have here is we have really big, significant events like the Supreme Court sort of what are they called, around Mexican American the
treatment of
treatment
jurors.
Exactly.
Of
So you
not
have Gus
having-
Garcia, you have Gus Garcia who went all the way to the Supreme Court to argue and got acknowledgement that we are separate, equal but not, or separate but not equal, right? All these things that were born of San Antonio, including Spanish television, right?
That's
Because
right.
through Spanish radio, all these things that were basically sent out into the United States from San Antonio.
That's right.
Whether it was ideas, whether it was rulings, whether it was pop culture.
Whether it was people who ended up in other cities making a huge mark and taking part of San Antonio with them.
Or inspired by San Antonio's actions, right?
That's right.
The point being that to me, if you look at the origin story of a lot of these movements that would shape Latinos in the United States, whether they were Mexican or not, they came from San Antonio. And I think that is part of what makes me believe truly that we are the capital, that we are the true capital of Mexican culture. Separate that from the fact that we are one of the largest Latino majority cities in the country that genuinely embraces and celebrates Latino culture and that it's infused into everything, including our largest celebration, citywide fiesta, then you truly do see a city that has never shied away and has never hid. And I think that's also what makes it important for us to acknowledge. We've never hid who we are. We've never. You come here, you get what you get.
We recently had lunch and you mentioned something over pizza and salad. You said that San Antonio must stop talking about its potential and start claiming its power.
Yeah.
And that's a commanding shift in language and mindset. So what does demanding our power look like to you, and what's holding us back?
Well, the first thing it looks like is for our leaders to stop saying we're a city of potential. Because I think people look to our leaders to signal what we are and the responsibility they have to portray us. So I know that for many years, we wanted to give hope and we wanted to address so many of the significant problems we had. We wanted to couch it by saying, I know we have all these problems, but look at all the potential. And I think that's fine. That's a caring way to put it. But I think over time, what it's done is it's given us complacency to be okay to not go and grab what we are. I just told you all the power that came from San Antonio that was released out into the world. And we never really claim it collectively. We've done, I think as a city, we kind of keep forgetting that those weren't accidents. They were purposefully done because of the will of the people of San Antonio to not hide that they believed in their culture, to not hide that they believed that by coming together as a community, they were more powerful, by looking out for the community. And that to me is the power that I think we've already lived into and proven 10, 20, 30 times over. And so for me, it looks like leaders no longer saying city of potential, including my husband, Ron. It looks to me like teachers starting to talk about these moments of power that we can claim, artists depicting those moments of power during Hispanic Heritage Month, us owning moments of power, right? Not just the cultural moments and not just the beautiful parts that
Not
we
just the
are
food.
happy. Yes,
We're so much more than
but
that.
those moments of power and contribution are the key to me for us to finally say, this is San Antonio. We are a city of power, right? And we exercise our power this way. And this is part of what you are opting into when you come visit us, when you come live here, and when you invest in us.
And what we could also be an example, maybe even a prototype for other cities
100%.
by doing this. I mean, I think of what's happening in New York right now. Kind of,
Yeah.
they're showing their power.
They sure are. They sure are. I think what New York is doing more than anything else is New York has always been that place where people came to find their dreams, right? I
That's
mean,
right.
think about it, the mythological wonderfulness of the immigrant story of coming through the bay and seeing the Statue of Liberty, and it was this call to action for all people to come.
Yes.
That was the power of the New York mythology and the New York mindset. You came in here and you became part of the larger metropolis, part of the New York City lifestyle and New York City people, right? And I think what they just finished doing was they said, we the people believe in this man to bring that back to us and reflect back the idea that we are still a city of hope and a city of progress. And I think that's what happened. I think that's what we saw.
And I think also to your point about owning it is that we do sometimes we don't, but often there are people in other cities that look at us and say, look at them. They have all that history. They have all that culture. They have really meticulously started to document all of the people that came from Mexico, and all of the people that made roots here, and all of the things they started and how they fought for their communities. So we have to recognize what sometimes outsiders are already recognized.
You're right you're right about that. How many cities that we have that are friendship cities, that are sister cities, they're impressed every time they come. They're not just impressed with what we've done with the city and the approach that we've taken and how we protect our culture, but they're impressed with how open we are to their cultures and how we're so okay with learning about them. because that is exactly where power comes from. I learned, this is going to be interesting. I heard one day that a definition of power is how fast you go from idea to execution, that's true power, that the truly powerful people, it's not about title and not money, but how fast you go from idea to execution. And I think when people from other countries come, other cities come, and they see, look how fast San Antonio went from idea to execution, from deciding that they were going to start celebrating MLK March to suddenly being the largest MLK city-sponsored march in the country. Like, look how fast it went, right? They see that power. And I think that's a reflection back on us and what we should just continue to embrace and continue to share.
That's right. Go ahead.
Well, now that you stepped out of the public role as First Lady of San Antonio, what does life look like? What are you rediscovering, reclaiming, or reimagining in this new chapter of your life? And also, many have wondered if maybe you might be destined for elected office.
I wondered.
Do you feel that pull?
Elaine asked me that question
in another podcast,
in a different podcast, and I told her, and I still feel this at this time, is that and you asked me your very first question, right? How was my journey to finally feel like I don't want to hide? And my answer hasn't changed, that I told Elaine, which is, it took me such a long time to find my voice that was a combination of wife, mother, executive, Latina executive, that I don't know that I want to have to compromise it. And I think by the nature of an elected office, because you serve so many people with different viewpoints, you have to be a great compromiser. And that's not a negative word. You have to find a way to collaborate and compromise. And I'm at a stage at this point in my life where I don't want to compromise my voice. I want to be able to come and chat with you guys about different topics. I want to talk about, what we're seeing in our society. And so as long as I'm in this phase of life, I don't anticipate that I'm going to want to necessarily scale my voice back, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't foresee that being anything I want. Also, I like the fact that my husband, that's his career path. And so, I've learned a long time ago that that if you really have that passion for public office, you should go all out. I don't have that passion to serve the same way he does and the same way another elected official might. My passion to serve my community and is different, and I'm going to continue to do it that way. But your first question, right, which was really kind of around what life is like. Mm-hmm. I'm very lucky in that our son has turned out to be quite a nice kid. He's a good kid. I say that objectively.
And he's adorable.
Yeah, he is.
I could tell him if I didn't like him. I could tell you. But I like him. I like him very much. And I think what
is sometimes more as important as loving him.
Agreed. And I think this blessing of being able to have spent time before he left to Japan, because he's in Japan right now, and not have to go to events, has given me a really nice timeline to spend. I got to spend all summer with him before he left, without having to feel obligated to attend events, which I always enjoy. Don't get me wrong, but I think that was kind of a nice respite. I also like the fact that I had a honey-do list that Ron did go through and start to accomplish. Oh yeah, there were things about cleaning out closets there. He has promised to detail my car for the longest. He finally detailed my car. All these things that I think seem mundane, but if you've kind of been holding on to, like, when are they going to get done? When are they going to get done? And stuff that I didn't want to do, not because I couldn't, because I was like, no, Ron, you're going to do it. And so I'm like, yay, it's getting done. So it's been very nice and quiet, honestly. Unusual.
Not for long.
No, not for long.
Does he still help with laundry on Sundays?
Oh, he still does it. Ron still washes the dishes, y'all, and he still does the laundry on Sundays. And now, because Jonah's gone, he picks up the dog poo. So he's got that now.
Oh, that was Jonah's job.
That was Jonah's job.
Can you tell us a little bit about what Jonah's doing in Japan?
Sure. Through the great exposure that he got as a younger student through Students of Service, SOS, he was able to visit the summer of his, I want to say, sophomore year to South Korea. And he fell in love with the idea of Asian cultures. He really wanted to know more. So the summer of his junior year, through the Sharani Institute, which of
is
course Henry Cisneros
is kept alive all these years.
Yes, with
in
the help
honor of Mrs.
Sharani, yes, who was a very important ambassador to San Antonio from Japan.
Who was very instrumental in helping San Antonio bring Toyota
Yes, she was.
to San Antonio, and
That's right.
whose memory was evoked at a recent beautiful ceremony in which Henry Cisneros was honored by the Emperor of Japan.
Yes, all of that to say that she's left behind part of her legacy
Mhm.
is the ability for students who are interested to learn more about Japan. They apply and you can get 3 weeks in Japan fully scholarship. And so Jonah applied and was able to go last summer and truly open his eyes. Again, if you compound that with the student service experience and then the Sharani Institute experience. So he decided he was going to spend his senior year of high school studying abroad in an Asian country. And one of those 2 countries was where he wanted, and he ended up in Japan. And so our little 17-year-old is in Japan.
But he's going to an English language
No,
school?
fully immersion,
Wow.
all
Oh my
Japanese. And he
God.
did that through the Rotary Club, because the Rotary Club has
yeah.
wonderful opportunities to study abroad. It's all Japanese.
And he's living with a family.
And he's living with a family, going to school in Japanese, friends in Japanese. The family,
What
Wow.
an
the
accomplishment.
family knows some English, but they're not super fluent as well. And so he's having a great time though. This is, I mean, to be 17,
Yeah.
and go to Japan and experience that. It's never in my wildest ancestors' dreams. My
Yes.
grandmother included,
Exacto.
she think that one generation later,
Yeah.
or 2 generations later.
Well, one generation from migrant fields.
Yes, one
That's
generation from a field
Mhm.
worker, you would have a
Yes.
17-year-old studying
Wow.
in Japan.
That's so beautiful, and it is that American dream that we still strive for.
It's a Mexican American dream.
That's right.
I have never had the guts to ask you this question.
Do it. I might not answer it, but do it.
Because
Let's do it.
I was,
Okay, fingers crossed.
when I was at the San Antonio Express News and had a podcast, I was like, oh, if I ask that, it's going to sound so unprofessional. But now, I'm retired and we have this little podcast.
So am I.
And
I'm
you're
retired
here.
too. I'm not first lady anymore.
And so I've always wondered how you handle this.
Okay.
And that is, it's obvious to anybody with vision that you're married to a very hot man.
Oh yeah, he is. And he was hotter with the beard. I don't know what he's doing.
Okay. So not only do you have to witness women kind of making their way, taking the selfie, making movidas, as we say, but you also have to endure gay men doing the same thing. So how do you handle that? Let's have it out.
Okay, well, so first of all, gay men have really, really good taste. So the fact that if a gay man thinks my husband is hot,
yeah, sister.
and I'm
Okay.
like, check mark, then I think it qualifies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's been that to me. I'm like, Ron, when gay men stop saying you're hot, maybe I need to think about it. Right?
Right.
But-
right.
But
Oh my
and I don't mind it because I think part of the interesting element here is that I don't know that Ron ever really thought of himself that way.
I think that comes across.
Yeah, I don't think he ever thought of himself as handsome or hot really until we started telling him. And I've always told him I've always thought he was the most handsomest man ever.
But I've seen pictures of him at Penn,
Yeah,
and he just looked kind of dorky.
yeah. He
But Dorky can be hot.
yeah.
Obviously.
Come on.
But I think that's part of the reason why I don't mind it. I really never mind it. I especially like it when the viejitas thing and flirt with him because I think it's adorable.
It's
and I also
adorable.
It's
I-
almost so innocent.
Yeah.
And I also I'm like I hope that when I'm that viejita, I think you're hot.
And it's like mijo, sort of
Yes.
enduring.
Some of them are not mijitos. Some of them are pretty open with it.
Okay,
Some are like,
señoras,
"Mijo, you're
señoras,
awesome,
watch
señoritas,"
yourself.
right?
Calm down,
Calm
ladies.
down.
But I don't feel threatened by it primarily
That's
because
beautiful.
one, I think my husband is a very approachable person. And for me to be upset about people feeling comfortable enough to come up and do something so intimate as flirt with him or tease him, I think that says a lot to how he's handled his power and his position, right? Because he's never disrespectful about it. I think he gets embarrassed. I think he gets all red. I mean, and so I don't mind it at all. I think it's par for the course. If I also didn't trust him, then maybe I'd be more worried. But I trust that man so much, primarily because he's scared out of his mind about me. I'm not, you got to train him, ladies. But second, because I think his purpose has always been to provide a secure and loving home, knowing that I came from a place of divorce, knowing that I came from a single mother later, knowing that I had my own insecurities about men in my life. I think he's taken that and has just created a life that's so caring and so trusting,
And you have said about how kind
he's a kind man. And I think that I couldn't take that away from him. I couldn't take him feeling comfortable with how people come up to him and feeling always a little like, what is my wife going to say? I also think he's a gentleman. So he knows when things get a little uncomfortable. He knows where to stop it. Like Keanu, he knows not to do this. He knows to put the hand like this or like this. Yeah. I think he's in that same realm of gentleman.
Yeah. That's probably why you're such a big Keanu fan, right?
Yes.
I know that you are.
I'm a huge Keanu fan because I think I always saw in Keanu that same kindness.
Yeah.
Not only that like you as a partner would wish, but you as a mother would wish you raised a kid that kind too.
Yes.
And then separate from all that, he's also hot.
Yeah. But I have to say, I think you're hot too. You're 10 across the board. So
and it's not easy, I grew up being called like La Prieta, right? Because I was the darkest one of my sisters. And I was always given credit for being the smart one. And there's a lot of girls out there who probably didn't understand what I'm talking about. You're the smart one. You're the smart one. You're never called the pretty one. Yeah. You're never called like, beautiful. I did not grow up thinking I was attractive. I'll be upfront. I did not. I always thought I was more like that my success would come from my intelligence, never from my looks. I was chaparra. I'm very gordita, full, I should say, curvy. All my life I've been a size like 12, 14, and so with the society that we grew up in, that never really made me feel like that I was beautiful. But going back to the theme of this, right? The more you understand that you shouldn't hide parts of who you are or hide your joys, hide your accomplishments, hide your energy, the more that I think you come to terms with what makes you attracted to yourself.
Yeah. That's right.
And I love to dress in themes. Mm-hmm. Today I woke up and I was like, I think I'm going to be a mariachi today.
I know, it looks good on you.
It's beautiful.
And so I collect accessories that let me kind of give that. And so I was kind of like, okay, how would I put this outfit together? That also over time, I think, has given me the confidence. And so you're right. Now, as a 51-year-old woman, when Ron says, my God, he's like, oh, you look beautiful. I was like, I know. And aren't you lucky? You yeah. And, he laughs. But saying that and accepting that, I think it has been a very long journey, including when I first became your first lady. I think you've heard me. I spent the first real 2 years second guessing everything. And then I think the good news about it was, I think I got over it pretty fast when I started to see girls come up to me. And when they would say, this is your first lady, and they would look at me and be like, she's brown, and she's wearing trenzas, or rebozo. Why she look like my grandmother? Why she look like my mother? That's when I started to really just be comfortable with saying, you know what, there's no such thing as a first lady look.
That's right. And confidence really is beauty.
It is.
And you talking about this also brings me to this moment, a Juan Gabriel moment.
Oh,
yes, this is what he's all about.
I haven't seen it yet, so you guys go at it.
We'll just have a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've been talking about the series, and I know you're in love with him.
I love him.
And she just recently saw a jacket that was a replica of a jacket that he wore on stage.
San Antonio Philharmonic.
Was it Bellas?
Shout out to them for having it replicated during their Juan Gabriel concert. It's the gold and black sequin and beaded jacket from
the tassels on it. Yes.
From the Bellas Artes 1990 concert.
The concert,
Game-changing concert for Mexico. It was the first time a musician of popular music, música popular, was allowed. People were outraged from the higher class that they were going to let him have this concert. and he won the Hearts Over. In fact, it would be one of his first of 3 concerts he would later have in Bellas Artes.
And you wore it briefly.
That was my Halloween costume.
Oh,
I
okay.
dressed as that concert.
Okay,
But the jacket that the Philharmonic replicated for their conductor was on display. It is at the Mexican Cultural Institute down in Hemisphere. So I went down while they had it on display, and I took tons of pictures of it. Beautiful, beautiful exhibit right now of great Latino artists. Tongolele, Juan Gabriel, Jose, gorgeous, next to a Xolo Squinkle exhibit as well. Beautiful exhibit. But yes, I was like, hombre. Marta Martinez Flores, one of my other good friends, she was on the told me they had it there.
Yeah.
And so we're like running to get pictures with it.
That was awesome.
Do you know what I love about Juanga?
What?
And the documentary will tell you, you have a kid who had the same circumstances we've been talking about.
Yes.
Who knew he had a power,
Exactly.
voice.
But he doesn't look like a conventional
He does
person
not.
at all.
También estaba morenito.
Yeah.
Yes.
He had the full
He
lips.
was a small guy.
Yes. He was you're right.
And chubby. And so
But at
all
the
of
end,
the
he was,
things at the end.
At the end,
that's right. But all of those things seem to be against him.
From
Yes.
poverty.
obstacles. And his brothers hated him.
His brothers hated him.
Yeah.
He was effeminate, and
Yes.
that in Mexican society was
Yes.
also against the norm
Oh,
for a
definitely.
sex symbol.
Yeah.
All the things. And so, but what did he do? He leaned into the power that he had to move people with his voice and the belief in himself. And that documentary is great. It's only four episodes, so you can watch it in a sitting. But I love Juanga primarily because every time I hear Juan Gabriel, because he was from Michoacán, right? We would be in Mexico with my grandmother's family, and every morning when they would go out to the patio and they would sweep with the water, the patios of stone, and the geraniums were in blossom, I would hear Juan Gabriel music. That was the favorite of my tia Carmen. And those memories are so embedded in me that Juan Gabriel means more than just music to me. It literally means a space in time where I was in culture with the origins of my family. Safe and happy.
Yeah. Can I put you on the spot?
I mean, why not? I already started. Why not?
We already
Can you
talked
do
about
it?
how hot her husband is.
Yes.
Can you do a little bit of Amor Eterno?
Amor Eterno?
Uh-huh.
Oh gosh, I hope I remember the lyrics to it. Like, Amor Eterno.
That's it.
E inolvidable. Tarde o temprano estaré contigo para seguir amándonos. But that's not my favorite Juan Gabriel song.
I
My
know, but
favorite one is
it's such a
Se me
good
olvidó otra vez. That's my favorite one.
Oh, how
Well,
does
you
that
want
go?
to sing a little bit of that?
Oh, okay, but I gotta get ready. Let's see.
Okay.
Ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen,
take some water. All right.
presenting
All right, sorry if it's too loud for the mic.
Erika
It's-
Prosper Nuremberg.
Probablemente ya
Oh.
de mí te has olvidado y mientras tanto yo te seguiré esperando.
Oh, yes.
No me he podido ir para ver si algún día que tú quieras volver regreses todavía. Por eso aún estoy en el lugar de siempre, en la misma ciudad y con la misma gente, para que tú al volver no encuentres nada extraño y sea como ayer y nunca más dejarnos. Probablemente estoy pidiendo demasiado. Se me olvidaba que ya habíamos terminado, que nunca volverás, que nunca me quisiste. Se me olvidó otra vez que solo yo te quise.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
Boom.
Good.
Boom. Wow.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. We've
Little,
got a
little known tidbit about that, guys. I actually hired a singing coach to help me with my presentation skills because I was presenting too fast. And what she did is she used that song to help me learn to pace
Yes.
And so, an alternative to people that want to pay thousands of dollars to presentation coaches, just get yourself a singing coach. They teach you how to breathe,
Yes.
how to slow down, and how to think through.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent.
It's so important.
Wow. Thank
Okay,
you for
let's
that.
bring down the heat on
I
all
love
of this.
Yeah,
And,
he started with branding hat.
yeah. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. And, okay, so like all good San Antonians, Michael and I are HEB.
Go everything.
I mean, we're really fanatics,
Yeah.
and I will tell him about a new product I spot. He'll tell me about a salsa
A new
he
salsa
loves,
that I love. El
or-
gallo. Sorry.
and I love all sorts of merchandise.
Yes.
It's as if HEB knows me.
No, that's what we try to make sure.
Well,
Yeah,
the insights,
community.
customer insights,
Yeah.
right?
It's the algorithm when you walk into the store.
Yes, yeah.
It's
It's
human
over,
algorithm.
It's over our
me
heads.
conocen. Así es que we have a couple of things here.
Yes.
And so tell us what you do.
This is what's
for-
coming.
So
You're
I
in store.
it's in store right now. I
Okay.
brought some gifts, right? But also told you guys about something. So the first thing that I think is really cool is that this Christmas, our bakery team stepped up, and so you're gonna find some really cool stuff. Concha slippers. They're really good too. They're sturdy. They're made of great material. But mira que bonitos. They're little pink conchas.
Yes,
Wow.
I love
That you can put. They have the little HB bakery
love
tag.
Oh.
And they're very comfortable. They're very, look, feel them. They're high quality.
Oh my God,
and
they're
it's
so
squishy.
cool.
And it's squishy. But I
know.
love these, but they're going fast. So you might only find extra small or extra large. So if you find large
Oh
or
my
medium,
goodness.
buy them.
Are you
Buy them.
stocking on them?
I every time I go to an HB, I go to that shelf and see if I can find the large size.
So go to the merch before you go to the
Yes.
canned goods.
Go to the merch before you shop for your food, because these are running out of certain sizes everywhere, and they're beautiful, and they come in cream too.
Yeah.
So
like
you can
conchas.
get pink for her and cream for him.
Oh.
They're amazing. But my favorite one, guys, is this. It's a colcha blanket with a hoodie.
Oh my God.
Look at this. It's a hoodie, but it's actually a giant concha that you
giant white
wrap
cream
around
color.
yourself, put on the hoodie,
Watch
watch the Juan Gabriel.
movie night, or going to a theater where it's so cold.
Yes, or watching the Juan Gabriel documentaries
That's
in
right.
your house.
It's almost like a concha cape.
And to me, I think what this continues to do, right, is not only is it joyful and fun, but I think going back to, again, the idea of culture
Yes.
is it shows you the gift, again, from San Antonio-based business. You know, it's where headquarters are.
All customers.
To all customers across the state. It's kind of like, here is something that's dear to a very important home culture of San Antonio, of HEB, you know, and here it is, our gift to everyone who comes, who goes into it. And you never know, people that are visiting, you know, can take back a little bit of our culture when they're also getting their snacks or
Yes.
refilling their water. But more importantly, I think what it does is it just gives all of us things to rally around and stumble upon that are meaningful.
And put on our Christmas list.
Yes.
Thank you, Erika. Speaking of gifts, you're a gift to us. You truly, truly are. Thank you for reminding us again about power and how it begins with pride and belonging. Belonging is so revolutionary, you know? It is. And we are so grateful for your voice, for your vision, and for your corazón.
Thank you, Erika. You are a force, and this city is better because of you. We look forward to your next visit to the Buena Vista Project, when you will be doing commentaries and talks right into the camera, as you do on Facebook, which I really enjoyed too.
Yeah, those are so much fun.
And thanks to the Gomez Law Firm for supporting this podcast.
We also want to thank Vanessa Turney and James Vadala from Crane the Agency for producing this segment. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for joining us and for watching future episodes of the Buena Vista Project.
Until then,
Hasta la
Buena Vista.